All right, so mission and vision statements, because today is Mission Sunday. We have fabulous Ally Global here today. Round of applause. Woo! Okay, so I'm going to start by reading our mission statement, our mission and vision. So our mission is to lead people in a personal relationship with Jesus Christ, who will then lead others to Jesus. And through the Holy Spirit, our vision is to encourage and equip people in pursuing intimacy with God, building a caring community, and influencing others for Christ. That is pretty much the Great Commission, just like Pastor Bruce talked about last week, all in a little nutshell. And we want to do this through our local community, but we also through greater community outside of us. Is there something that I can do to make this better? No? Okay. Sorry. We want to be able to continue doing the Great Commission, and we also are partnered with Ally Global, and so in hopes that people can experience the love of Christ through all the amazing things that they do. So without further ado, I'm going to bring up Alicia. Can you come on up? There you go.
Thank you so much. Good morning, Highway. How are you? We're doing good. We're here. Hey, the rain doesn't look that bad out there. I just moved here from Calgary 2 days ago. So I'm thankful that the rain is holding off a little bit, you know? I'm like getting back into Vancouver. It's awesome. No, we're so happy to be here with you guys this morning. If you don't know, my name is Alicia Chinchilla. I'm a part of the team at Ally Global Foundation. My beautiful, incredible colleague Sharon is in the back as well, and you'll get to hear from her a little bit later today. But we're so excited to be here with you this morning. How many of you have heard about Ally Global? There's some hands. Okay, I love it. I love it. I had the opportunity to come yesterday and hang out with some of the incredible women, a part of your women's ministry here at church, and we watched a film that we produced years ago that shares a story of a girl that has come through human trafficking, and it's a powerful, powerful film. But what I loved yesterday was just being able to sit and chat with you, ladies. Like, there are some incredible women in this church who all have such powerful stories, and I think there's something so powerful with stories and what comes with what God is doing in each one of our lives. We have a story to share, and so I think it's interesting in the idea of stories. We like the idea of a hero, right? We like the idea that when something bad happens, there's someone who's going to swoop in, save the day, bring about justice to that situation, right? So much so, we like heroes that the most popular franchise in movie history is about what? Superheroes. Any Marvel fans out there? Yeah, come on. So when we hear about an issue like human trafficking, how millions of people around the world are currently being exploited and abused, we desperately want there to be a hero. Wouldn't that be nice? Somebody who can just come in and save the day. And maybe this is the first time you've heard this term, human trafficking. It's a complex issue, but in its simplest definition, human trafficking is a crime where one individual exploits another in order to make a profit. And it can look like multiple different forms, maybe forced labor in a factory, maybe a servitude in a private home, forced marriage, or even sexual exploitation. But no matter what form, in every situation, someone is being held against their will and being taken advantage of or abused, and someone else is actually making money off of their abuse, off of their pain and their lack of freedom. And this is happening to millions of people around the world in nearly every country, even in our own sweet Canada. It's happening here in our own backyard. And according to a recent report by the United Nations, it happens to men, women, but especially children. And that's what I want to focus on today. Globally, 1 in every 3 human trafficking victims is a child. 1/3. That breaks my heart, and I desperately want there to be a hero. I want someone to save these children, to swoop in and bring these traffickers to justice. And we might even feel so moved this morning, I do often, that I feel like this strong desire that I need to be the one to step up and save these children. I need to do something about this. When I read that stat, I'm like, we can't just let that be like that. Someone has to be the hero here. And the good news is that there are multiple organizations around the world doing incredible things. They're out there working together with law enforcement and governments to get children out of these situations. And the work they're doing is a vital piece. But it's just that. It's just one piece of the puzzle. Because here's the thing. No matter how many children are being rescued out of trafficking, the trauma of sexual exploitation and abuse is something a child just can't leave at the front door. So who is going to help these children heal from what they've experienced? That's the problem. They've been rescued, but what now? And if you were raised in a loving home, you're probably thinking the answer is obvious. Their family or their friends or the people around them, their parents. But there's two problems here. First is that sadly, in many of these cases, children are trafficked and sold by their family, by relatives. So home is not always a safe space. And the other problem actually happens more in developing countries where traffickers tend to target children from rural communities by promising them work opportunities or education, telling their parents, hey, we'll put your kids through school. But the thing is, in these contexts, the problem is it would be rare for a child to know, A, where they're from. They wouldn't understand the geographical whereabouts of where they're living. And so if they're taken out of these rural communities, it's hard to figure out where did they come from. There's no ID system. There's no way of them figuring out who their parents are. So when a child is rescued, there's actually no way to know where they came from and who their parents are. These are the problems. Who will help them heal? Home is not a safe space. And where is home? So the question is, what happens to a child once they are rescued from human trafficking? Or to look at it another way, how does a child who has lived through sexual exploitation and abuse become a healthy, independent adult? So these children, they don't need a hero. They actually need an ally. They need someone to walk alongside them for more than a moment. Not somebody who's just going to swoop in and save the day, but somebody that's actually going to walk with them day after day. And right now there's a lack of organizations that are actually providing that long-term recovery care because they say that effective care, this stat is crazy, effective care for young children, the average length of recovery for a human trafficking survivor is 10 years. Not a 1-year program, not a 5 months, hey, we got you out, we'll get you through it. No, 10 years on average. And there is a lack of these kind of organizations that are able to walk with these children for that extensive amount of period of time. So without access to the long-term care and the safe space that they need to heal, survivors are at high risk of being re-trafficked, which would be awful, or facing further abuse. So, Ally Global Foundation. We exist because we saw this gap between being rescued and actually being able to walk through your trauma to find healing and freedom. We exist to be local partners to those who are working on the front lines to care for these children who are rescued from human trafficking. And these local partners, Highway, they are incredible. They are trained, they are equipped, but they are individuals who are from that culture, that understand the context of the country in which they live. And we're currently supporting work in Nepal. We're supporting work in Cambodia, which I know the proceeds in which the women's ministry in your church here that you give to, and we'll hear more about Cambodia later from these incredible ladies, and in Laos, and even here in Canada. Those are the partners that we currently, as Ally Global, that we come alongside to support the work that they're doing. And through their incredible work, we have seen that survivors, when they are provided with a safe space to live and to be, and B, that long-term care, that 10 years, not only can they heal, they can actually flourish. They can actually build healthy, independent futures. And that's the goal. That's the hope. It doesn't just stop with them being exploited and going, glad we got you out of that. No, can we have a bigger vision and a bigger heart to see them actually be able to flourish and walk into all that God has for them? So what exactly is all involved when I say that they need a safe space and long-term care? So firstly, it means their most basic needs are met, and that is through safe housing. So a roof over their head, a bed to call their own, a good stuffy, warm meals, that sounds incredible. But more than that, the safe homes provide a family. And I look around this room and I see all of you guys, and that's what we are. We're the body of Christ. We're a family. And there's something so beautiful that when we can come together as the body, as family, something powerful happens when we get to be together and support each other. And according to a child psychiatrist, Dr. Bruce Perry, he said this: we heal best in community. We heal best when we're actually surrounded by people that love us and that support us. He said our connectedness to other people is key. It's key to healing from past trauma. Without people who are present, supportive, or being with people who are present, supportive, and nurturing. Those three words, they hold so much power. Being present, even in your community, who's hurting, who needs us to be present with them today? How can we support and nurture? And that's what these children need. So many of the leaders in the homes, they've actually shared similar backgrounds. Those that are leading these safe homes, they've actually come through their own trauma and they've been able to walk through their own healing. And now they're actually turning around and loving and serving and supporting the next generation of survivors so that they can walk through what they walked through. Isn't that so beautiful? And the homes operate like a family, and they build meaningful relationships with others. And we actually get this opportunity where they get to create relational trust and responsibility. And each child is given an older sibling that looks out for them and a younger one that they can help care for. It's this beautiful, holistic picture. I saw the power firsthand of safe homes when I went to Nepal. I had the incredible opportunity to go to Nepal in October. And I'm telling you, this place, these leaders, these people that are currently right now on the ground loving and serving and supporting these safe homes. We have about 5 safe homes in Nepal, over 100 children in these safe homes. And I got to watch these leaders firsthand, and I was just like moved to tears. I cried a lot just because it was so beautiful. You hear these stories of what these children have walked through, but to experience the other side, to see the hope, the joy that they have. There was this girl, her name's Anna, and she came to one of our homes a couple years ago. 12-year-old girl with a newborn, very cold. You could just see like such trauma in her eyes. They said she'd actually tried to even hurt herself and the baby before she came. And to witness, I heard that story, and then I showed up in Nepal in October. 2 years later, she had the most amount of joy I have ever seen. Just so excited, wanted to show me her son. I watched her son be able to be taken care of by all these women in the home, and I'm like, man, look how God has restored her story and actually allowed people to come alongside her and just to witness what she is like now. And that has only, honestly, I believe, come through the power of what the safe homes provide these children, a safe space, and to be nurtured through a family, through people to actually care for her son. And so this nurturing family support system is strengthened by providing each children access to be able to go through trauma-informed counseling, and we have medical care services. And these leaders, they work in unison with a dedicated team of counselors to monitor the emotional, the physical, and the psychological health that each child needs, and ensures that they can actually receive that at an individualized level as well, because every child has a different story. Some come at 4 years old, because as a prevention, we actually saw that they were being groomed. Some have been through years of exploitation. So everyone's at a different level, and they need to be seen right where they're at and supported. Another big component after counseling is to help reintegrate these children back into society is bridging the education gap. This is a huge one. Education, because after experiencing trauma and abuse, you could imagine entering the public school system can be damaging to a child's self-esteem. So our local partners, they operate their schools through trauma-informed teachers. So it's a whole different type of education system where they understand what the children have actually been through. They've lived it themselves. They know how they can provide a classroom experience and environment where they're not going to be shamed. They're not going to be stigmatized, especially in Nepal. The caste system is huge. Instead, they're actually going to be accepted and empowered. Another factor that needs to be considered is that many children who have come through the safe homes have actually never had the opportunity to go to school. Picture this. Imagine you're a child and you've been trafficked at the age of 8 and you were rescued at the age of 13. So that's 5 years now has gone by. You're trafficked at 8, got rescued at 13. But before that, you'd never been to school. So now you have a 13-year-old who's never been to school. Are you going to place them in a classroom with peers their own age, but they've never been to school before? Or are you going to put them in a classroom with a bunch of 8-year-olds? That's kind of embarrassing because I'm 13. Why would I be with all these 8-year-olds? So it wouldn't work well to put them in a classroom with either of those. So both options would be harmful to their self-esteem, especially when they're in the process of recovering from trauma. That's hard enough in itself. So that's why these safe schools have specialized classes where teachers actually meet them right where they're at. They're actually able to help them learn at whatever pace they need, at whatever level they're at, so that they can create an environment that builds up their confidence. This is a huge piece for them as they're walking through their own trauma and trying to find healing. Now, as they're getting older, so they're brought to the safe housing, they're allowed have an opportunity through counseling, education. So what now? As they're getting older, they're starting to think and dream, right? And go, okay, what's next for me? What do I want to do someday? What do I want to do for work? So beyond education, we actually make sure that these children have an opportunity to dream, to think about what do they want to do? What kind of job training is available for me? And so we have so many different varieties of tracks that they can actually go down, from sewing, baking, hairdressing, makeup, mechanics. Our local partners have a number of different vocational training opportunities for them to help equip them with skills to gain that independence, because that's the goal. So now they're becoming a mature adult, and they're ready to begin reintegrating back into society and transitioning to independence. When they're ready to move out, we actually help them, after the safe home, get an apartment with a friend, and we help them pay their rent, and we're trying to teach them skills to go, hey, how do you be an independent adult, but also have us walk with you to help support you, to help you gain that independence. And they still receive our support. So we encourage them, dream, pray, figure out what is it that God wants to do with you, because you have a powerful story. Your life matters. You have meaning. You have purpose. And so what is next? And so we help them connect them with those opportunities. So if you want to go to university, we help them get scholarships. Right now, I know we have 12 that are in university right now that we currently are supporting through scholarships. And it's incredible. They're doing things like cosmetology, nursing, hotel management. And I want to tell you about my friend, Cassie. I met her when I was in Nepal in October. And I just remember I was sitting at this dinner, and Cassie came to the home at the age of 5. And you should have seen it. We were talking, and she remembers her very first memory being in the safe home was her first Christmas. She's 5. And she remembers sitting there. They didn't have any money for gifts or anything, but she remembers just that first feeling of I'm a part of a family. And the way she was articulating this memory to me and the joy in her eyes, and she's 24 now. This is when she was 5. She has this very distinct memory, and I was just watching her talk about her first Christmas experience, and I was obviously moved to tears. Like I said, I was crying a lot. And but it was just so powerful to hear. And now, at the age of 24, she's actually studying to be an architect. And we just recently purchased land in Nepal, because up until this point, we actually have rented all of our facilities, all of our safe homes, our schools, everything is all rented. And you can imagine that comes with so many challenges, right? When you're renting, especially when they're trying to heal from their trauma, and then to be told, oh, I'm so sorry, we have to move to a new house because the rent is up in that one, or whatnot. So here we are in Nepal, we've purchased land. And now Cassie is studying to be an architect. How beautiful that she now gets to kind of be a part of the plans of designing and figuring out, what do we want this space to be? How can we build into the future of the next generation of survivors? Isn't that so beautiful that here's this girl with her life, now she's able to offer just this beautiful picture of giving back and building into the next generation so that they can have a safe space for them to heal just like she did. I just think that is so beautiful. And as adults, many of them have come through the safe homes. They choose to help lead prevention programs. This one is huge, because the things are that we need to travel to these rural areas. There's so much, there's not enough education for these rural communities especially. And we need them to travel to these areas to help show presentations and share stories about what goes on, and help educate parents about and their children about the dangers of trafficking. And so a lot of these girls and that have come through the programs, they actually want to be a part of that prevention program. They want to travel to those rural cities and go, no, I want to be able to come alongside parents and children and tell them about what is actually going on. And because traffickers often lure children from these vulnerable communities with the promise of school, one of the best ways to prevent trafficking is to get them in school. And so we actually go out to these communities, and our teams help look for families who can't afford school. They look for, do you need tuition? Do you need uniforms? Do you need books? What is it that you need, so that we can actually come alongside you to help support you and get your child in school? And this is just one of the many ways that these brave individuals who've come through our safe homes are actually using their experience and their healing to make their communities a safer and better place for the next generation. I think that is so holistic and so beautiful. And I'd like to share my friend Jasmine's story with you. Jasmine was brought into care in one of our local partners in Nepal when she was just 4 years old. And today she's an independent young woman who is thriving in her career as a hairstylist and a makeup artist. And I got to meet her when I was there in October, and she is phenomenal. But I will let her tell you more of her story.
I was young, I never felt pretty. I used to feel that if I talk or I share, they're gonna hate me for who I am. Always that things was in my mind, because the background that I came, I was never loved, and that things was haunted me for a long time. When someone used to say me, "You are pretty," I used to laugh because I didn't believe that. I came here when I was 4 with my sister, and in 19 years I learned so many things about myself. Every leader taught me about something about ourselves. They never judged me for who I was, like my background, my past. They just loved me. They always make me realize that you are precious, you are good in what you are confident, and we love you. But it was me who was rejecting the things that they offered me. When I was 15 years old, there was opportunity for us to learn a beautician course for 6 months. So at that time, one of our trainer came here, and I had a very black long hair, and at that time I used to feel so down about myself. That trainer put me in the chair, and she cut my hair, and she put color in my hair, and at that time I realized that I was pretty. I can be beautiful. And after that, my whole perspective about life, about everything changed. For me to realize this, it was so hard for me. Like, sometimes I remember the past thing like I went through, but it was me who was stopping me. And this profession made me realize that no, you can do it. There were 24 girls that had a training, and from 24 girls, we were 4 girls had the vision to work in salon together. This salon, to open a salon, it's the biggest dream for us. We want to work 24 hours. When I come to this place in the morning, I feel so happy because this is what I want. It was just a dream, and we are going to make it happen in real life. We want this place to be a family environment. We want them to be feel loved. When we touch their hair, they to feel loved. Then in future, I want to help my sister. I want to give them what I learned. If I will find one sister who have interest in this place, then I will give my 100% for her to become what I am. I can see me as an independent woman who believes in herself, who have confidence in what she have, with all the scars she may have, the past she may have. A very confident woman who will be giving training for more girls like me, because I am one of them. I want them to know that to dream, it's never too late.
Yeah, she's amazing. No matter what your past may be, it's never too late to dream. It's so beautiful. And her passion to see other survivors find the same kind of hope and purpose and independence that she has is going to change her community. I believe that. And it just radiates off her even when you meet her in person. Like, she just has so much passion to help the next generation of survivors to be able to be where she is now. And her story shows us the power, right, of a stable, loving environment that brings healing and transformation. But over time, it does take time. She's 19 years. She came through our home, right? She came at 4. And it took 19 years for the day that she came to the safe homes to become the confident, incredible woman that she is now. And it takes that time. Each person's journey is different, obviously, right? We'll look around the room. We all have different stories. Our journeys are all very different. But the average length of recovery for trafficking survivors is on average 10 years. And so this kind of long-term ongoing care, it requires ongoing support. And so these children need allies, not a hero. They need allies like our local partners, the people that are on the ground, giving of their lives truly to serve these children day in and day out, to raise the next generation of survivors so that they can find that healing and that hope. And so many of us subscribe to monthly services and whatever it may be. I know there's a million. My husband and I are like, oh my gosh, we have this one and this one and this one. And how many do we need? Disney Plus? But the thing is, I feel like this generation, like especially this opportunity for us here is to be intentional and generous in the same way we are with our streaming services. And so we have an opportunity called The Refuge, and it's our monthly giving program. It's made up of incredible people that individuals just like you and I who are passionate about helping these survivors find that freedom. And it's incredible. We want to help them experience this hope. And I think that's what I really want you to hear this morning, the hope. There's so many stories that break our hearts. I mean, we can even look down the street. There's so many stories of people that it truly breaks our heart, but that's only one piece. So when they're rescued, it's the aftermath. It's actually being able to celebrate what God has done in their lives. And I that's what the picture and the image I got when I went to Nepal is that you hear the stories of what they've walked through, but then you experience who they are and the joy and just this like childlike faith that they have. And I'm like, man, like that's the hope, is these safe homes, is what we're actually able to do by coming alongside them and loving them. And it's through people like that are bold, that want to be a part of the refuge, that want to help raise these generation of survivors, and that people that desire to make a difference in that. And that's how we can do it. And through that monthly support and through your support as a church, I know your women's ministry, you give and you raise funds for our Cambodia projects, and we're so grateful for that. And I hope you hear that and know that sometimes we can feel far away and we can feel like, what can I do? That's somewhere else, and it's happening in our own country as well. But just showing up and even giving just that small amount, even from your own selves, there's something God can do with that through our generosity and through our posture of, I don't know what else I can do, but this is what I can. And I think God uses that, and it's so powerful. And so, we want to invite you, if you want to become a refuge member personally, you're welcome to. Sharon and I will be out on the table, but also you as a church, like we just want to say thank you. We just want to let you know how much we love you and how grateful we are that you want to be a part of these kind of stories like Jasmine's, where you're like, you know what, here I am in wonderful Maple Ridge, Canada, but I want to be able to walk alongside these children because they deserve it. Every child deserves freedom and safety and a place to be able to heal from their trauma so that they can be the next generation that this world needs, that has hope. And that's all I wanted to say. Thank you so much for having me, and I'm going to pass it back to you guys.
We're doing an interview style. Awesome. So this is Sharon.
Hello, everyone. I'm Sharon. Good to see everyone's faces. It was fun to see your guys' back of your heads, but faces are better.
Right? It's always better to see smiles.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So Sharon is a part of Ally Global. Do you want to tell us a little bit about your role at Ally Global?
Yeah, for sure. So I've been with Ally for 1.5 years now. My role currently is the International Operations Coordinator, which is just a fancy way of saying that I'm the point of contact for our local partners in Nepal, Cambodia, and Laos. So if anything goes wrong, we have an emergency, we need a project, some people to be deployed, I'm the first contact person. And if there's any trips or any kind of arrangements to visit one of our projects, I would be the contact person for that. So
that is
yeah,
so
I'm
exciting.
so grateful to be here and to see you guys.
I love it.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, so how many countries is Ally Global in? How many countries do you guys partake in?
Yeah, absolutely. Ally Global Foundation is currently partnered with local partners in Nepal, Cambodia, Laos, and Canada.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. And so Cambodia. So how long and what do you do with like in Cambodia? Like what is that section of the ministry look like?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll give you guys some backstory. Our partnership with Cambodia happened because of our partnership with Nepal. So it's kind of like a brother or a sister project that came out of the project in Nepal. And the founder of Ally and the founder of the local partner in Cambodia, they have been friends for over 20 years. It's a long-standing relationship. Wow. So there's lots of trust, lots of building relationship there, which is why the project has been thriving there. We have over 150 children in care in Nepal. We have 60 in Cambodia, which Highway Church is supporting. Thank you guys so much. All of you are creating such large global impact. You have no idea, and I'm so happy I get to share. And in Laos, we're helping support more than 40 children in care. So, yeah,
wow, that's a lot of kids. That's fantastic.
That's a lot of kids who need a safe place to call home.
Yeah. So supporting these kids, what does that look like with sponsoring? So what does sponsoring a child look like with Ally Global?
Yeah, absolutely. Something that I find so special about Ally is the holistic care. I've seen so many reintegration programs where it's just a month, 3 months, a year, or even 3 years. But the unique thing about Ally is we want to be there for the survivor for the whole duration of the time. When you've been through a trauma like sexual exploitation, you don't just heal over that overnight. It takes years. So we're so grateful that our local partners are able to be alongside them for 10 plus years. As the stat you saw in Alicia's wonderful presentation, it's the average time for recovery for a survivor is 10 years. So that's an incredible long time that we be able to partner with the survivor. So
for sure.
Yeah.
That's awesome. How much does it cost monthly to sponsor a child?
Yes, exactly. So that looks a little different with every country, but currently to cover the cost of safe housing, prevention, food, education, and leadership support, and everything you can think of, down to even like their welcome gift teddy bear, is around $200 a month per child.
Right.
Yeah. So, yeah.
That's pretty cheap considering what it's
if you
doing.
compare it to Canada, yeah.
That is so cool. Awesome. So as we'd mentioned earlier, our women's ministry, we support Ally Global. So what is it that we do is like, where is our support going? Like what program and what is that about?
Absolutely. So Highway Church, every single person present in this room and the women's ministry particularly is supporting our project in Cambodia. So our Safe Home 1 in Cambodia, we have 3 safe homes there. Over there we have one girl. I don't want to say her real name just to protect her identity, but I will say her name is Letha, and she is beautiful. She is very, very kind. She's growing with the love of Christ and all the body and the prayers and the love that are going here. So this church has provided for her safe housing, her education, her prevention, her school books, her school tuition, her clothes, her friendly leaders who are there to support her. All that care has been provided for her entirely.
Wow.
So
that is so
thank
cool.
you guys so much. Thank you.
That is so cool. I love that we're able to support even from here in Maple Ridge, Canada. Another question would be, are there any short-term missions, or is there something like as a church, like maybe we could down the line like come down to Cambodia or come and help serve, or like is there anything available to that extent?
Yeah, absolutely. We'd love to see your beautiful faces there with opportunities that come by. In the past, we've had several teams go with sizes up to 8 people, sometimes even 12. We've also had very young children go along with us because we think it's very, very important to instill generosity and empathy and love from a very young age. So we're extremely grateful, and we'd love to explore that opportunity with Highway Church in the coming days. Yeah.
I love that. Oh, that's so exciting. I love this program. It's fabulous. Another thing too is August. What is the fundraiser you guys do?
Yeah, so this is really exciting, and this is where all of you can be involved as a family or as an individual. On August 6th, we are hosting our 3rd annual fundraising event where people from all over Canada, we've had BC, all over Canada, losing my train of thought, but
All good.
all over Canada raised over $900,000 for
Wow.
survivors of human trafficking last year. And we're looking to help
On one
even
day.
more. In one day.
Whoa.
Yes. So people from all over Canada. So we really want to focus on the support and individuals, so prayers and loves and support. So we strongly believe there is strength in numbers. Last year we had 500 participants, and this year we're looking to hit even more. So we'd love to have you guys involved as a family or a unit to get together, grab an activity that you love. It could be running or hiking or singing or dancing, and you do that and you set a fundraising goal, and all that support goes towards a survivor in care, a survivor in need. So that's absolutely beautiful and a very practical way for you to be involved and make a difference, follow the mission of Highway, both locally and globally. So yeah,
That's so cool.
really exciting stuff.
How do you get involved with that?
Yeah, for sure. So this is a QR code. I'm not sure if it'll work right now, but you can take your phone camera up to it, and it should pop up a link. If that doesn't work, you can head on over to Google or Safari and type in ally.org or moveforfreedom.org, and that will take you directly to sign up and everything. This has not been fully launched yet, so as soon as it'll be launched in May 4th, so I'm giving you guys a sneak peek. You guys get the first, information.
We're special.
Exactly, absolutely. If you want to hear more about Move for Freedom, you can feel free to talk to Alicia and I in the booth outside, or we can join through the refuge. Of course, that is so impactful and so helpful for us, because that's a practical way of you becoming an ally to the survivor. You don't know how meaningful. I had the great opportunity of visiting the Nepal project, and every single leader I met there was so grateful for the people that they haven't seen, for the people who were supporting in Canada, far away, who didn't even know their faces or names, but were supporting them every single month. That means the world, the world to us. So thank you so much.
That is so cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow. Okay, before I thank you both for coming here, is there anything else that you'd like us to know, or is there anything else that we could be doing to encourage you guys or to be praying for you guys? Like, what kind of supports?
Yeah, absolutely. Feel free to follow us on our social medias, like our Facebook, our Instagram. That is also a huge support to us. Thank you so much. Highway Church is already supporting us through the women's ministry, and we are so grateful for that. But if you wanted to explore something like university scholarships for the children in Cambodia, we could explore that as well, and that would be absolutely, truly empowering and beautiful. Yeah, that sounds really good. So Move
Fabulous.
for Freedom, Refuge, and lots of other ways.
Oh, this is so awesome. I love how many ways there are to be able to support this program. And I love what God is doing too, because He's taking something that started off small, as you guys mentioned earlier, and He's just there's no roof to it. He's just doing His will, and He's protecting the children. So I think that's
absolutely.
awesome.
I strongly believe that every single person in this room is here for a reason, and I'm so grateful that you guys are here to be able to listen to the story of Jasmine's and other beautiful people. Like in Cambodia, just the last month, we had a 13-year-old who was abused by her uncle. And this was the first time she was able to go to court and testify against him, and he was actually sent to jail. So that was a huge, victorious moment for us, and all of your guys' support helped doing that work long term. So we're really, really grateful. So, yeah.
Oh, thank you so much for, technical difficulty. Thank you so much for coming up here and for sharing. We really, and Alicia, we are so blessed that you guys came here and showed us a little bit more about what Ally Global is, because this is so important, and this is part of our heart, this is part of our mission, this is part about what we want to do and we love supporting you guys, and we, if that's for me, tell them I'm busy. But we love supporting you guys, and I'm excited to see where this relationship's going to go.
Absolutely.
So thank you so much.
We can't do what we do without you guys.
Can we get a round of applause? Awesome. Thank you. Okay, before we close today, I'm just going to share a little bit from the book of Matthew. And raise your hand if you've heard of the story of the least of these. Hands up. The least of these. All right, so I'm going to read a little bit. This is one of my favorite passages in the Bible, and I think that this is exactly what Jesus is calling us to do. I think this is exactly what Ally Global is doing, and God is using these people to fulfill his greater purpose and his greater mission. And he's protecting the most vulnerable. So if you guys want to bear with me while I read a little bit of this. Where did it go? Okay, so anyways, gotta find my spot. Here. Okay, I'm going to give you a backstory so I don't have to read it all. But Jesus is talking to the people, and he's telling them that there will be a time where he separates the goats and the sheep. Okay, and he's telling them the reason why they're being separated. And he says this. He says, "Come, you who are blessed by my Father, inherit the kingdom prepared for you from the foundation of the world. For when I was hungry, you gave me food. When I was thirsty, you gave me drink. When I was a stranger, you welcomed me. I was naked and you clothed me. I was sick and you visited me. I was in prison and you came to me." Then the righteous will answer, "Lord, when did I see you hungry or feed you, or thirsty and give you drink? When did we see you a stranger and welcome you, or naked and clothe you? And when did we see you sick or in prison and visit you?" And so they're looking at Jesus, and they're questioning what he's saying. And they're like, "We did not feed you, we did not give you drink, we did not clothe you. What are you even talking about? This doesn't make any sense." They're like, "Why are you calling us the righteous if we never did any of that for you?" And what Jesus says next is probably one of my favorite parts in the whole Bible. It says, "And the king will answer them, 'Truly I say to you, as you did it to one of the least of these, my brothers, you did it to me.'" So he's saying that the people who are most vulnerable in life, the people who are seen as the outcast or the least of these, the ones who don't have as much as we all have, he's saying that when you take it upon yourself and you be the hands and feet of Jesus within your community, locally and globally, that you're actually doing it for him. So whenever we are supporting a child in the refuge, not only are we supporting that child in the refuge, but we're doing it to Jesus. We have to look at everything that we do with the eyes and perspective that we are doing it for Jesus. And we are showing the people in this world the love of Jesus. And we are just pouring into everything that we've got because of Jesus. Right? And so we are feeding them and clothing them. And that's what I believe Ally Global is about. Right? They are taking these people who have been so broken and so abused and neglected and changing their life. And I loved what Alicia said when she said about the hope. We see what they've been through, but then through Ally Global, we can actually see the story that Jesus has given them. And we can see where chains were broken. We can see where healing and restoration happened. And it happened because we fed them, we clothed them, we gave them something to drink, we welcomed them in our home, we loved on them. Because as Christians, that's what we're called to do. Right? We're called to go out and be the hands and feet of Jesus. It says in the book of Matthew that the people of this world will, this is paraphrasing, but the people of this world will know his disciples because of their love. So it is so important to show this love. And this is why I get really jacked up about Ally Global, and my family does too, because this is what we're supposed to do. This is the Great Commission. And we need to go out and be the hands and feet of Jesus. And so that really excites me. So I'm going to bring the worship team up, and we're just going to finish off in prayer. I probably could have brought them up a couple minutes earlier, but I got a little excited. But yeah, so let's be the hands and feet of Jesus. Let's support where he's called us to support. And honestly, it is an honor to be able to support. So if you guys want to join me in prayer, that would be fabulous. Heavenly Father, we thank you that you have given us so much. God, I thank you that we have this opportunity to be your hands and feet. Even though this isn't just locally, God, that this is globally, I pray that you can use us to make a greater difference in these lives. As we saw in Jasmine's life, that the restoration and the healing that came, Father, and that's from your love, from your people going out and sharing the gospel and sharing the love and feeding them and clothing them and giving their basic necessities. God, I pray that this can encourage us today. I pray it can encourage us and equip us to continue to support and to continue to do it with gladness and with gratitude. In your precious name we pray. Amen.